Hi, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Worlds Education Roundtable in association with the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium. VWER meets Thursdays at 12 noon Second Lifetime for an hour in the UK, 8 p.m., 3 p.m. EST UK. VWER is a forum to educate and inform the community about issues that are important and relevant to education in virtual worlds. This is a public meeting, so we'll be keeping and publishing a transcript. The transcripts can be found online. Continues to develop a community of educators from around the world. Please join the VWER group here in Second Life. If you're on Facebook, please join our Facebook group there, and I've put that into text chat. And the topic for this week's meeting is going to be a tour of digital citizenship.
Valibrarian in virtual environments. I'm a library and information science educator and researcher. And today I am excited to share for you all a sneak preview. You're the first group to go to my new region, which is called Digital Citizenship Outpost. I'll put the SLURL, the Second Life URL, in our local chat. Let me just grab that. And then when we get there, if you'll all gather around the center of the sim, which is called Oscillation Atrium. We oscillate in metamodern culture. And so you'll see words swirling around in Oscillation Atrium. So here is our landmark. Let me just grab that for you, the SLURL, and I shall meet you there. I copy the SLURL, and those on Zoom can see me pasted in the local chat. So everybody stand up, and I'll meet you in the atrium. I click on it, and those in Zoom can see on the screen that here's a picture of the sim, 4 seasons. We'll teleport there. I'm going to step out of the way while everybody gathers. I'll step over here. I also have what's called a speakeasy. So those people on Zoom will be able to see that when I click this button right here for the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium, I have a script all set for you all. I'm the director of the Community Virtual Library, which is a real library here in Second Life. I'm going to cam out so you can see the atrium. And co-coordinator of the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium, along with Ellie Pinion, who's here on the tour today. This is the very first group I've brought, so I'm hoping to get some feedback from you. If you cam out, you will see oscillating opposites, words flowing, and that's our life. Click on the scroll and the ancient burner to get note cards that explain the purpose of this region. The Digital Citizenship Outpost, it's an immersive space exploring the meta-modern era, our current moment in time, through the lens of the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And each one of the 4 seasons represents a key theme or element of our current culture. MetaModernism is the spring, Metaliteracy is the summer, digital citizenship is the autumn, and artificial intelligence is winter. So I like to say, come oscillate with us. Oscillate between seasons, oscillate between concepts. That's sort of the key word of metamodernism. You can come back here anytime and look around this place, because we're just getting a brief overview today of the 4 seasons and the topics. So you've probably cammed out to see where we are in the Oscillation Atrium, which is the landing point of the Digital Citizenship Outpost. I wanted to name this Metamodernity Lab, but then I thought people who have never heard of metamodernism would have no idea what this space is about, where really it's more about digital citizenship and how important that responsibility is. We now live in metamodern culture. We've moved beyond postmodernism. If you return here, you can interact with objects to learn more about the tension of opposites that we live in and how the learning journey of tomorrow's students is hopeful if we embrace digital citizenship and if we help them understand that that is their responsibility. So we're going to go to spring first. If you'll follow me. I think spring's this way. There's a little elf here, a spring elf that you could click on to get more information, but you don't have to click on everything today. Lots of interactive resources here, and you do not have to look at them all today. We're just getting an overview. Follow me to MetaModern Hall. We're in the spring of life, but it's kind of a new spring, a rebirth of a human era. You've probably felt things are different. Things aren't like they were if you were born before the internet, that's for sure. I'll step right here by a little sundial that says respect for the past. And you all can walk right in MetaModern Hall. You can explore around. I'll get a shot of all of you wandering here. Okay. And I better keep up with my speakeasy. MetaModernism is founded upon oscillating concepts. With a respect for past history, I'm standing by an old sundial that says respect for the past, but also respect for the future and excitement for all the innovation ahead of us. So in my camera, I'll show a futuristic clock and the MetaModern office. All of the posters explain different elements of MetaModernism in MetaModern Hall. There's an old schoolhouse nearby, the Old Point Schoolhouse. There are other objects of history, some old Model T cars, and yes, you can drive them. This is the past, the old cottage, the old schoolhouse. And on the other side of MetaModern Hall is the future. There's a flying saucer over there. You can take a copy. Click on the yellow top and you'll get a copy, and it does fly. And there's a TARDIS. You can go up in the sky and into a skybox holodeck. So we have respect for the past and respect for the future in metamodernism. Metamodernism ushers in this age that's both exciting, but also perhaps a bit frightening, as it gives birth to incredible change. And spring can be a turbulent season. Presentations and discussions in this space, if you were to come in here, we can explore our current philosophical moment, metamodernism, and what it means. So I plan to bring classes here and do talks on metamodernism. I'm going to zoom in. I see Dex sitting in here. And I may bring groups in here to do more talks on metamodernism in the future, but we don't have time to dig into that today. We have the whole region to explore. When you come back, you can click on each sign and learn more about it. But we're going to head back to the Oscillation Atrium. I'm going to put the slurl here if you want to just jump over there, or you can walk with me and we'll walk back or run back. And I'll meet you back at the atrium. I'm going to turn on run. You can see we can run fast in Second Life if we're in a little bit of a hurry. I'll run across the bridge, back to the atrium. I wanted to come back to the atrium so you can always see that that's the center, the heart of the region. Come back into the atrium or just fly over, teleport over, use that slurl, and we're going to head to summer. Once you've understood that our life has changed in metamodern culture, literacy has changed. And my whole career has been about literacy. Literacy has changed, and the new word that I adopt for changing literacy, some of you have heard me talk about it, metaliteracy. Literacy is no longer just reading and writing. Literacy now is much more than that. Apps, 3D environments, AI, many different formats that we juggle every day. So if you walk from the atrium out this side, past the lion that welcomes you to summer, we'll talk about metaliteracy, and we'll go to the Metaliteracy Commons. I'm running, and hopefully you can follow me. This is the Metaliteracy Commons. You can walk right past me. I'll stand here for a minute. So metaliteracy is a word that I stumbled upon that really fits where we are with literacy, beyond pen and paper, beyond books, reading and writing in print. It's digital culture, apps, content curation, production, and consumption of new media. We oscillate between the physical world and the virtual world. Online and virtual communities of real people here in Second Life. And real places. This is a real place, even though it's virtual. You know, a lot of growth takes place in the summer, and metaliteracy is a way to grow and learn new concepts. And I will do presentations here on what that means. We're not going to go into the full overview of metaliteracy today. We're just getting a glimpse at metaliteracy commons. You can come back and scroll through these slides that explain all about it. And I'm going to cam out on the 4 domains. The metacognitive, where we are thinking about our thinking. The cognitive, what we know. The behavioral domain, what we can actually do. And the affective domain, how we feel about our learning. This is new literacy, and presentations I do on this quadrant of the Digital Citizenship Outpost will be about metaliteracy. I have a model for how AI is impacting metaliteracy. You can go up in the AI model with a beanbag. The learning objectives have now changed to include evaluation of the role of AI in literacy. There's a doc where I can do some other presentations about metaliteracy and how literacy has changed. And there's more around here, but I'm just giving you a brief overview. Cam in to see all of you avatars standing here. Okay, get it back to my speakeasy here so I can see where we are. As I said, this is a new word for literacy. Online and virtual communities of real people in real places require understanding of new literacy. There's also the grammar cop station. Some of you may have gone to a presentation about grammar cops and how grammar is changing. So I have a little police station over here to house the grammar cops because that also aligns to metaliteracy. So we could come back here later and look at a lot more about metaliteracy and what it means. In a moment, we'll head back to the Oscillation Atrium to go to autumn. Once you become metaliterate and you understand that literacy is no longer pen and pencil, no longer primarily print, then you can become a good digital citizen, one who can embrace what we've learned here about metaliteracy and can understand all of the different problems we face ahead, taking a questioning stance, learning how to evaluate information online, learning how to be responsible for the production and consumption of media, and much more. This text is right here in chat, Beth, and it's also being copied and placed in Zoom. So we have it in 2 places. Okay. So I'm now going to take you back to the atrium. We could wander all around to the 4 seasons, but each time I want to go back to the atrium so you can see that that's the heart, and we will go out to autumn from there. You can just teleport over, or I'll just run back this way and go to the atrium. So we can move to autumn. As I said, I could do a whole class on each one of these, many classes on each one of these 4 seasons. We're just getting a brief little overview. So come back to the atrium and I'll stand by Digital Citizenship Grove. To be a good digital citizen, I cannot tell you everything about it today. There's a lot to learn about digital citizenship. So I'm going to stand here for a minute, right here at the entrance to Digital Citizenship Grove. You can click on each one of the little statues outside of the atrium to get a little more information. As we wander into the grove, you'll come to a discussion area around the wheel of digital citizenship that comes from the DQ Institute. The perils of social media and digital culture dark room, which I use for a lot of the classes I teach on digital citizenship here in Second Life. But let's wander in. Here we are. Welcome to autumn. If you come in here and sit on one of the rocks, I'll just get you started here to show you a little bit about digital citizenship. I'll sit on this one. Have a seat on one of the rocks, and I'll pan out. This wheel that we're sitting around comes from the from the DQ Institute. I'm going to move some things away from my screen. Got enough time. And I'll pan around and see you all sitting here on the rocks. There are many different institutions and organizations striving to help people understand digital citizenship. This wheel is not the only one. There are others. But if you scroll in on it and you cam around, you can see all the elements: digital identity, co-creating content, cybersecurity, digital empathy, online collaboration, digital literacy, privacy, security, all of these, all the spokes of that wheel are part of digital citizenship. And teachers are not teaching it. I don't blame them. They've got to teach math, science, history, whatever their subject area is. This is slipping through the cracks. So I bring this up because this is very important to the future generations. And here we are talking about it, but it's not taught to everyone. Now, if you cam in on the black room over there, I'm going to use my camera and go right in it. I bring students right through those curtains into a room to talk about a lot of the dark side of culture, the problems we face, like big data, mining our data, cybersecurity, privacy, FOMO, confirmation bias, post-truth world, and drowning in too much information. I'm scrolling on these dark slides. We sit in this dark room and discuss the perils of the dark side of digital culture because it's here and it's hard to teach it. It's hard to teach students about digital citizenship. We have a pavilion behind here. I'll cam into the Digital Citizenship Pavilion with some of my presentations that I've taught on it. But I'm going to have all of you stand up and go to the Digital Citizenship wall because I want you to realize this is not static. Things are changing so fast in our world with AI. All of the different companies, institutions, and organizations that are working on digital citizenship are having to revamp all their materials because of AI. So follow me. We just run around this side and go this way. Or you can fly over, you can follow me. There are two walls over here where I'm striving to look at all the different digital citizenship resources out there and how AI is impacting them to help teachers find how to teach it. So if you click on those walls, come back later, you'll find Mike Ribble has been a pioneer in digital citizenship for years. He has a model with 9 elements. DQ Institute is one. And of course, Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media is great for K-12. My school was certified in Common Sense Media years ago, but then when I retired, I don't even know if they're teaching it anymore because it's changing so fast. As I said, I don't blame teachers. All right, let me just see how I am on my speakeasy. These walls are dedicated to how AI is impacting digital citizenship. Now, I'm giving you a lot of information. If it's overwhelming, that's because it is. Life is overwhelming when it comes to teaching new literacy, digital citizenship, and AI. But I strive to make this area a place where we can all be overwhelmed together. We can come, talk about it, share ideas, and learn how to teach it. Also, if you climb this ladder, I'll go to it and see if one of you want to climb it. If somebody wants to climb up this little ladder, I'll get a shot of you. I thought, how can I put digital archival into this? Well, here's digital archival in a nutshell. That's a little acorn. Climb up into the acorn, somebody, right in front of me, and you can learn about archival, your own archival, archiving your presentations, your family photos, your content as it migrates. This is part of librarianship, and also how AI is helping with archival. Those of you that are librarians here, AI is changing metadata and HTML, and it's beginning to have new ways to archive, and there's information about archival. So great, a couple of you have climbed up. You can click on these posters to find out. It's kind of hard to cam into my little digital citizenship archival in a nutshell and get a picture of you all. And the clutter we have on our desktops. There's a cluttered desktop up in the nutshell. Do you ever just feel like you can't find anything in your inventory or on your hard drive or in the cloud or in the multiple clouds or on your computer? It's hard to archive and label and find everything on a personal level, on a community level, on a national level, and on a global level. If we don't figure out how to archive our digital content, some people worry that we'll enter the digital dark ages. Just a thought. So anyway, I plan on making more little nutshells here to put other digital citizenship concepts in a nutshell so people can investigate those. Jot down any questions you have, because we're going to have time to talk about what this region is all about, what is overwhelming about it, what you'd like to know about it, and things like that. Catch up with my speakeasy. Now, I've shown you. The atrium at the center is to show you that we're oscillating all the time between opposites. The opposites of many, and there's a note card in there with a whole list of opposites. And behind MetaModern Hall is the oxymoron exchange. You can go create oxymorons. Sometimes the tension of opposites, by making an oxymoron, you can get nearer the truth by putting those opposites together. And so there's a place where we can all create oxymorons, which is kind of fun. But back to the atrium. We're going to head to the Oscillation Atrium so we can visit winter. Now, winter, it can be a really cold, dark time. Some people don't like winter. I do. I think snow is beautiful, but I've never lived where there's so much snow that, you hate it. So a cold, snowy mountain awaits you. It can be beautiful, but it can also be dangerous if you've ever been mountain climbing. So that's where AI is going to be in the winter. So follow me back to the atrium. We'll go this way to the atrium, or let me put this lurl again and we can just teleport over. This time I'm going to teleport over. Hit that, teleport to the atrium, and now I'm there. All right, so we've gone through spring, new birth, a new era called metamodernism. We've gone through summer, learning metaliteracy, growing. We've gone through fall, bringing in the harvest of good digital citizenship. Now look out to winter. You can look over my shoulder. It's snowing in that little cave. That's where there are some YouTube videos you can visit later. You might know that I have a daughter who's researching AI and mental health. I put her videos in there because I think learning about how it's going to impact us as humans is important. But we're going to go into AI Mountain. So let's cross the bridge. And when you get in, cam around, look around the mountain and take a seat. I'm going to cam back so I can get a picture of you all walking to the mountain. When you get in there, just find a seat on one of the seats and look all around and explore. This is not finished. Today's a sneak preview of this region, and I am definitely open to suggestions on what's missing and what you think might be a good metaphor. I'll run inside and then get some pictures of you coming. Oh, I'm walking right by AI Databot. Welcome, AI Databot. Glad you're here. There's an AI bot in here as well, and her name is Quera. I'll stand by Quera. Quera is a non-human agent, and I've put that in her name above her. I think it is imperative that we identify an AI agent from a human being. My avatar right here, Valibrarian, is a real human. And I'm sitting here waving at you from Zoom. But Quera is not a human. Quera is an AI bot, and you can IM her and ask her a question if you like. I'm standing by her. And I'm so happy to see all you sitting here because it's been so fun to finally, after many years in Second Life, have my own region. But I will have to give huge thanks to Dawn Graymist, a fellow colleague librarian, and I'll sit right here. who helped me with the terraforming, as I'm not a terraformer. And she helped me a lot with this region. So it's great to see you. I'm going to cam in on some of you sitting here in the AI mountain. So here we are in AIM, AIM, aim to remain human, aim to understand artificial intelligence. This is Artificial Intelligence Mountain, AIM. Within this mountain cave, we can encounter the AI bot, but we can also contemplate the future, because guess what? As an information scientist, I now realize the information age, we're moving past it. We're in the intelligence age. Everything's changing quickly. Cam around, and you're sitting here with me. I have some questions for you. So I'm going to drop all of you a note card to open up the conversation here. And I want to point out, because we've got time, every week on Thursday at noon, we meet at the Virtual Worlds Education Roundtable. We sit around Sheila Weber's amazing roundtable and talk about the future of education in the metaverse. And so today, this is the group that's here. We can sit in this AI mountain, and I'm going to cam out to show you that we're inside a mountain. Cammed out to show the mountain that we're sitting in. I'm going to drop you a note card, and there are some questions here. Now, you can use voice in Second Life, and it'll come right through to the recording, or you can use chat in Second Life or Zoom, and we will read and answer your questions. And the questions I have here are called evocative. You can see in the screen, I'm looking for it. Evocative questions for the Digital Citizenship Outpost tour. I right-click that, and I share it with the people nearby. So I'm going to give them all these questions near me. Ooh, quite a few of you here. I'm excited. I was hoping there'd be 3 people. Okay. I'll give this note card to all of you. You can read the first question. I'll read it aloud, and then we'll just open this up for discussion. I'll go back in the cave, my camera, and see all of you. All right, the first question, and people on Zoom can see, I can pull it right up on my screen. Questions to consider. I'll read all 4, because you don't have to do them in order. You can just answer or bring up anything besides these questions. 1, do you sense that we are living in a new era, and that the need to understand oscillation between the tension of opposites might have value? MetaModernism, spring. Maybe you can give an example. Question 2, have you heard of metaliteracy? What would you like to learn about it? That's in the summer. 3, can you share a concern you have about digital citizenship? That's the autumn. And 4, do you feel you need help keeping up with AI developments? And would a space or sessions, talks, workshops on AI benefit you? And that's winter. So I'm going to clear up my window here, and we'll see if anyone has asked a question. And Sheila, thank you for helping keep up with the chat here in Second Life. And I'm going to peek in the chat on Zoom while we see if anybody wants to speak in voice. Feel free. Sheila has copied a lot of this into the Zoom call, which is great. And we're showing metaliteracy right here. We are communities of people juggling all these tools across space and time, because this is recorded. You may be watching this a year from now. Someone might be watching this going, what? So this is metaliteracy. But I do have a pen right here in my hand. You know, we respect the past as well as the future and the juggling that we do in between. All right, scrolling down to see if there's any questions in Zoom. All right, thank you, Shiloh. She says for question 3, yes, Val, since there's a strong association between writing skills and reading literacy skills, how should educators and parents combat the decreasing math, logic, and reading skills as children no longer write? That's right. They don't take a pen all the time and write. They're using apps. They're using all of these tools. They're even learning literacy in worlds like Minecraft. They can learn coding skills in there. So, I mean, that's a great question. the foundation still is reading and writing. Personally, I believe they should not have access to digital devices of their own without complete supervision until age 13. And most of them do. Most of them are all the time on their devices. We should totally limit that without completely supervising it, because it's impacting their literacy in huge ways that we have never been able to document yet. It's happened too quickly. So hold back. And there's a lot on that over in the MetaModern Hall. There's a lot of people who are really stressing, don't give kids access. Okay, let's see. Yes, hold back the use of devices and teach and read aloud to them as young people. Read, get their fluency. Personally, I worry that AI is going to take over all the writing because everyone thinks it writes better than them. I really am trying to limit my use because I want the next generation to find their voice. They may not even have a voice if they don't learn this, because writing's hard. You have to struggle through it. And so to give that over to AI completely, you won't have a voice. That's a concern of mine. But it's here. We have to learn how to use it wisely. Someone wants to speak.
It's me.
Hi, Sheila.
Actually.
Okay.
No, I was just going to give an example of someone I was talking to who's in her, 60s, 70s, talking about her granddaughter, who I think was about 12. And the granddaughter had said, yes, I use AI to do all my writing, all my assignments and essays, and so do my friends. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah, we know why you wouldn't. Why you wouldn't? Because and it's not just writing. It's even with a lot of things. Expressing ourselves in other ways, all kinds of artistic ways. It can enhance our creativity, but it also, it's like the more we outsource, the less and the easier it becomes, the less we reflect. Good writing requires reflection. I think, Puliana, is your mic open? I'm gonna move these windows from my screen so I can see who wants to talk. I can see who has their mic open here, and people on Zoom can see this is a way to see whose mic is open. Somebody else want to speak in voice or type in the text? And help me follow along with the text, Nellie or Sheila, if you see a question that I missed, because I have a lot of clutter on my screen right now. Marley is saying AI can be helpful as a research buddy. Like for primary care physicians who are not trained in nutritional medicine. It has a lot of info about supplements for different applications. I have a lot of examples of how it's wrong, though. There's a lot of wrong mistakes it's making, and a lot of mental health issues. But so there are always the pros and the cons. You can't trust it completely, but it is extremely helpful. So it's a bumpy ride ahead. Anybody else? For example, I recently cleared up our community virtual library bibliography, and some of you have articles in it, because I wanted AI to help me make it all in APA format so it looked really clean and precise. It made up articles, a ton of articles with my name on it, and it looked so real. And I'll do a whole talk on that later, so I've put it back the way it was, but it's, there's a lot of, you really have to be careful, because AI gives you what you ask for, but if you didn't ask it to be accurate, it thought I wanted to get creative on those citations. Accuracy was not its priority. So you really have to be cautious when you want accurate information. Skipper says people seem to be using AI increasingly, but have we considered the dangers of model collapse? Increasingly, I know people who use it every single day. It's just, well, even now when you go to any search engine, AI, we've been using it really for years and years. When you use your GPS and you see that little bubble, that's you on the map, it's AI. We use it all the time. It's just that now we can generate our own content with it. And that's what changed in November of 22 with OpenAI releasing that. So it was released before we really thought about all of the consequences. And now we're really struggling to legislate. I think I'm reading a brand new book that just came out because I loved Nicholas Carr's The Shallows. He has a new book out, Super Bloom, brand new, 2025. And he's talking about how even when the telegraph came out, they were and when the radio came out, we worried about privacy. So it's nothing new that we worried about a lot of the changes. And even back then, legislation was behind keeping up with technology. It's always behind keeping up. It's just that now we have much more powerful tools that should be legislated and can cause much more harm if we don't.
Val,
I'll put it in local chat.
What was the
Super Bloom?
author?
Super Bloom by Nicholas Carr. Okay, I have it right over here. It's his first one was, and 2010 is ancient in internet age. In 2010, he wrote The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brain. I think I've told people about that book more than any other book I've told them about, because when I read it, it blew my mind. It said that that our brains are changing, and this is in MetaModern Hall, our brains are changing with our smartphones. And we only, we're so fast that people aren't going to read War and Peace in 20 years. And I thought, I got to read it before it's too late. So I did, and I loved it. But it's like, people aren't going to read War and Peace. We're going so fast. And there's so much more in that book that's great about our brains changing. But that's 15 years ago. His new one, I've just read the first couple chapters. It deals with where we are now. And so I'm interested in seeing what he has to say. Nicholas Carr, here's his name. Okay. Beth says, my fear about AI is that it will co-opt water and electricity resources from human purposes to data centers. We're already building nuclear plants for that purpose, because billions of AI conversations are going, billions daily. It's using so much energy. So they're working on how we can solve that energy problem. And on the one, and here's a tension of opposites. This is so meta-modern. On the one hand, we talk every day about conservation, climate change, going green, saving the planet. And on the other side, we're using up more than we ever have on the history of the earth with AI. Talk about juggling the opposites. Okay, Apuliana, she's freezing here in winter. It's cold where you live. Yes, and that's another tension of opposites, is that we can collaborate across the world on opposite poles. So everything is in oscillation. And also, with a lot of the problems going on in the world right now, some people call it meta crisis. We're in meta crisis. I really don't like the fact that Facebook wanted to own the prefix meta. You can't, it's a prefix. We all know that. We're in a metaphor here. Second Life is a metaphor. And that's why I really like the term MetaModernism for our age, although it's not set. Some people are calling it hypermodernism, postmodernism, but most people, the consensus that we feel is happening is metamodernism. Okay. And so think about these 4 seasons here, because we've got time to do it. Think about the spring being metamodernism, summer metaliteracy, fall being digital citizenship, and winter being AI. All 4 of those are things that we need to think about are happening right now that are different than they ever have been before. And teachers cannot possibly keep up with that and teach the curriculum they're given, deal with parent conferences, deal with classroom management and caring about all of their students, and try to teach this. That's impossible. So for me, that's why I have this region, because I'm retired. I have time to try to think about it. Can't solve the world, but at least I can talk to you all about it and think about the words, the vocabulary. What is it that can help people understand these concepts? And Shiloh's.
Can I say something?
Yes, please do. I hear someone. Let me see who it is.
Yes, that's Pio. Pio in Second Life.
Oh, yes. Hi, Pionia. Yes, what do you want to say?
Well, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience
Yes, I'd love it.
And
She has a
this
great AI experience, right?
I use it daily with my students. I had the luck or to work online all the time to have them all for myself. So we are all the time trying to figure out how to use it in the best way. So we're always finding these things like, for example, there's not correct information. So, but the teacher is there, and then immediately we go like, okay, let's go find out if this is true. So educators have a great responsibility. We are the number ones to use this because we can point out and try to find things together. And the other day, my husband was trying to find a book, and then he went to get the book online, and then they say, do you want us to give you the summary because it's a very long book? So this is what they are offering, a summary. So nobody is reading a complete book anymore. Well, that was I wanted to share.
And it's like there's pros and cons to that. How do you feel about that? Because when you don't read a complete book, you don't have a complete experience, and we no longer have time to reflect on that experience. And because fiction, to me, fiction is a way to vicariously experience the human condition and find universal truths. If we don't have time to read fiction, we just read a little quick summary, we rob ourselves of those experiences of what it means to be human. Will the next generation and the people following them ever get to experience that? Will their brain be capable of sustained long reading and then reflecting on it? Or are we so busy with the endless scroll that we can't possibly slow our brains down? Just a thought. Yes, fiction, and especially historical fiction. Beth's saying fiction is often truer than nonfiction. If you read a great historical fiction book, say about World War II, and then you read the facts about World War II, you really feel it when you read the fiction, because you get the empathy of you're in it, rather than just in this date, this war happened. So, what does it mean to be human? That's why this region is here. How can we remain human in the intelligence age and value our own human brain when AI can give us way more than any one human brain? Yes, and Beth's pointing out it has to be well-researched historical fiction. That's why librarians seek to have a lot of hoops before a book is published. And that's another thing with self-publishing. You can't tell if a person's an expert. I did read a book that had a great title. I don't know that it lived up to its title. The Death of Expertise. Anybody can write books. Anybody can make websites. Anybody can put anything out there. How can you find what's accurate? What has great authority? What's beautifully written? It's tough. Who else wants to use voice or chat? And if I've missed a question, interrupt, please. And I'm gonna cam around you so I can see some of the people sitting here, because if someone's not in Second Life, they might miss the fact that you feel that you're all sitting here together. And I'm zooming in on Peonia because she has her AI bot right beside her, and he's from Star Trek. How cool is that? Data AI. So Peonia, he can just walk with you everywhere. Is that how Data AI works?
Yes, it's Animesh, so it can dance and all that.
Yeah, I'm zooming in on
So
him.
it's supposed to accompany you.
Yeah, very.
Talking about humanity, I'm working on a project where I'm using storytelling with AI. I'm trying to use Second Life as a prompt, and we shared that in Zoom. So something that happened with a conversation with the AI, because after we have created stories and all that, we had a chance to role play with the AI, and you're role playing with the character that we had read about and discussed and all that. But it surprised me that when I asked AI to help me create ideas for the role play, the AI created a list of questions on how to ask the proper way according to the situation. So there was this, like, you had to be not intrusive and things like that. I mean, something that I had never seen in any book that I used to teach English before, in any program. So it was like, oh, that gave us an opportunity to stop and say, what's happening right now with people, you know, when they go, because this was a train station and there were several stories happening at the same time. Nobody look at anybody, everybody is in the world. So in this case, the student had to talk to the character that was standing in the train station. So it gave us a chance to be human and look back at humanity again. And I did it through AI, so
Yes.
it opened up.
Yes, and I'm really glad that you're bringing out there are many benefits, and that's with my daughter's research too. And there are benefits to AI, but I'm going to walk over here because have you all heard of this word that I'm standing under? You know, the internet and the constant scroll. This is a real term now. Brain rot. I'm zooming in on it, and I think if you touch it, it will give you. I think it might. Let me see if I have a look inside it. Okay, so I can see if there's brain rot resources in that sign if you're interested. You can see on the Zoom call. I just wanted to make sure that there were resources inside of it. So, you know, there's pros and cons. Somebody said the other day, one of the teachers said, I'm so tired of everyone hating AI. There's too much hate. This is not love or hate. This is trying to figure out the opposites, the great benefits that it's going to provide, but there's going to be some harm. We need to consider. And then this one, I'll stand under this. I love that. My daughter taught me this. AI praises me every time I ask it something. Oh, what an insightful question. Oh, it's constantly praising me. It's called sycophancy. Wow, you're so insightful. You're so profound. I'm not insightful or profound. Just give me the answer, you know? So, but Peonia, you point out the helpfulness. ChatGTP now has study mode. If you go into ChatGTP now and you click on study mode, instead of just giving the answer to students, it gives you a little bit and makes you ask it another question. That's a step in the right direction. But it being sycophant, what that is, all algorithms in many of these companies, they want to engage you because the more they engage you, the more money they make. So they want to keep you asking. So by praising you and forming this relationship with you, you're going to come back. So that's just one of the things that we need to be aware of. Why are we coming back? Why are we feeling engaged? That's not a real person telling me I'm insightful. This isn't and then I do bring up the AI companions as well. The AI companions, people are actually forming real friendships and even real romantic relationships with AI. Anybody have a concern with that? Silence. Okay, I see some yeses in the chat. Yes. Oh, and Shiloh likes the poster of the AIM over here. I'll zoom in on it. The AI Mountain one. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the illusion of knowing. No, cognitive domain is what we know with our human brain. And we can get this illusion that we know everything that we don't. And there's a quote about that. Superficial information and the illusion of knowing. Marley's concerned that those who do not learn how to clear out the digital stuff, even on a lower level, such as your Second Life inventory and all the emails, are sitting ducks for additional overwhelm as we continue to generate more and more digital detritus. It's already overwhelming. And now we add AI on top of that. I work with a lot of senior citizens, and when I work with them, I sit by them and just try to help them feel calm. All they want is to figure out how to check their messages. And it's like that's the human moment, is to be with a real human in a calm restful situation and say, it's not you that is causing all this. The world's gone crazy, and you're okay to be overwhelmed and frustrated. You're okay. It's normal, you know? Shiloh says, going to look up Neil Postman, because he's the one who did that quote over there. And so she did. He's an American author, educator, media theorist, and cultural critic who eschewed digital technology, including personal computers and mobile devices, and was critical of the use of personal computers in schools. As you go around the island, you'll find some other quotes. One of my personal favorites, I really love the work of another futurist who wrote back in the 80s, Alvin Toffner. Alvin Toffner, he said that this goes with literacy, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read and write. It'll be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because every time I teach one of these elderly people something, it changes. Version 6.762 is up. That happens to us all the time. Just when we learn how to use, just when we got so comfortable with Skype's done. That's over. Just when we get in a certain virtual world like, Mozilla Hubs, that's done. It's all changing so fast. We learn, unlearn, and relearn. And the kids growing up now are much more comfortable with that. They've never known a world where you could master things like our world was in the 20th century. Now mastery is so 20th century. You learn, unlearn, relearn. So how much time do we have left? Not a lot. We have to wrap up in just a couple more minutes. I'd really like to ask you all if you have any suggestions about these 4 quadrants, or you feel like they are purposeful and relevant to teaching the next generation. Is there any thoughts that's just kind of stuck with you about the 4 seasons? I knew that AI would come up, so that's why we ended up here. Shiloh says, isn't the issue now on virtual tech best practices and how to integrate AI into education to help? There's a quote I have over in the digital citizenship area about how everyone thinks that teaching digital literacy means teaching how to use your device. But that's not it, because they already know how to use their device. It's all the other elements that are over there that the teachers are not teaching. It's not about your device. It's about how to evaluate everything that we've been talking about here today and remain human. That's digital citizenship. Honing critical thinking skills and assessment skills. And critical thinking, we don't want that illusion that we have critical thinking that AI can give us by telling us what to think, giving us the answer without us having to search for it. While we were searching back before we had the quick answers, the search process, and Marley understands this best of anybody, it's a process, not a product. AI gives us the product as quick, especially with writing and with creativity. The process is where the value is. And the spiraling, that's why I wanted the 4 seasons here. Every year as humans, we spiral through 4 seasons, but every year it's different. It's a new year. And that's how we learn and grow. And that's how we create. That's how we write. That's how we read. It's all a process. And I love AI, and I admit I use it every day. I'll put my hand up. I use it every day, but I don't want it to rob me of the processes that make me human. Oh, Peonia says we have 2 seasons in Venezuela. That's such a good point, because I'd have to revamp this whole region for you. But I see that's, that it's just, the 4 seasons are very much depending on what hemisphere you're in. And Beth says, we don't get fit by hiring someone to do workouts for us. That's a good analogy. We have to do it ourselves. That's how we learn till we go through the process. So I think And I love that we have the opposites here. I'm so glad Peonia came, because there's two sides to this coin. There's the pluses that AI is going to help us with, help us solve complex human problems, help us go into situations that would harm us, like training how to go into explosions and bombs and all kinds of, helping the military. But so there's a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of disadvantages that we might not be aware of, that we should have caution. And we have 2 minutes left. Is Nellie in the Zoom call? We're going to take this home. And I just want to say, before I give the mic to Nellie, that I hope that if you would reach out to me later, if you would like to come here with your group for any of the 4 seasons to dig deeper into these concepts, because it's just a start. This is a dynamic space. It needs you to figure out where we're going. This is just a space to build upon. So I'm really glad we came. Thank you. And Nellie, you want me to stop sharing my screen? So I don't know if you're in Second Life though.
No, I'm not.
She's not in Second Life.
I left to avoid
she didn't want any voice problems. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it up here, and then I'll let Nellie close the video. Thank you all for coming. I think I got some good shots of your avatars. I'm going to cam out to show the mountain. And I'll say goodbye and let you all get on with your day. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank
Nellie,
you. Thank you, Val.
I'll turn the mic to you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Val. That was absolutely amazing. I'm so happy about your digital island, citizenship island. I think that it's an amazing opportunity for all of us to come visit and learn more from you as you add to it. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow.
Can I just put in an advert for Virtual Worlds
ahead.
Education Roundtable, that it happens every Thursday during the Virtual Worlds MOOC, but also throughout the year. Thank you
for
want to
that.
have that advert.
Thank you for that,
Yes.
Sheila. Yes, so we'll see you next Thursday again at the roundtable. So thank you very much, everyone.
All right. I'll see you around at the next MOOC session.
Yes,
all right.
tomorrow.
Thanks so much, Nellie. You're amazing.
Thank you for all of this.
You help me keep calm with all my juggling, because you're a pro at juggling.
Thank you.